Hmm. It is on. So heat dissipation from a fin insulated at the tip, or we can say at the end of the fin. So sometimes it is called tip, sometimes it is called end of the fin. So this is the end of the fin. So we have considered this to be the fin and this is the insulated part. Okay. So end of the fin is insulated. Okay. Now if this is the fin, so this is the base part of the fin. So whatever the temperature is there at the surface will have the same temperature. Okay. So I consider this is my T0. So I can say if this is the direction X, so I can say at this point my X will be equal to 0. And if I consider the length of the fin to be L, if suppose this is the length of the fin at this portion, okay, so I can consider as L is the length of the fin, okay. So at this point, X is equal to L. Now how I can rewrite here at this is again on the X-axis length of the fin, on the y-axis temperature of the fin. When X is equal to 0, I can say my fin base is at maximum temperature. So this is the maximum temperature on y-axis. Okay, and this is your ambient temperature TA. So when X is equal to 0, your T is equal to T0, and this is your temperature profile. So I can say this is my T of X. So my temperature profile seems to be linear temperature drop. Why? Because we are analyzing this fin under a steady state condition. That's why we are getting linear temperature drop. And also the material of the fin to be homogeneous. If you refer to your assumptions. So those assumptions is considered in derivation also. So based on this, at this point, it is not x is equal to L, x is equal to infinity. Okay. So at this point, x is equal to L, where L is not infinity. It means that my temperature at end of the fin will not be equal to the ambient temperature. So there will be some temperature. So I can say my temperature gradient to be 0. Okay. So I can write at this way. At x is equal to L at this point, my temperature is not equal to ambient temperature because we have some length of the fin, some finite length. So based on this, I can say, but my temperature drop is keep on decreasing as it is a linear temperature drop with respect to the fin length. So I can say temperature gradient will be 0 at the tip of the fin. So based on these two boundary condition, we can have the temperature distribution equation and we can have a Q of fin. Are you getting me? So what this line indicate? This line indicate there is some temperature. Okay. So there is some temperature is there. So some temperature is there at this line. So how we can proceed? Any idea? We can apply the boundary condition.
Boundary condition.
So we can have directly boundary condition. So in this case, what are the boundary condition? The first boundary condition will be at x is equal to 0. What is t? T is equal to t0. And if I put t minus ta, this will be theta is equal to theta 0. Clear? And based on my second boundary condition, if my second boundary condition is at x is equal to L. So what will be my temperature? I can say my dt by dx, that is my temperature gradient, will be equal to 0. So this is will happen at x is equal to L. So these are the two boundary conditions. So we can apply this to boundary condition to our equation number A. So what is the equation number A? Theta is equal to C1 e raised to mx plus C2 e raised to minus mx. Okay, and this theta is nothing but T minus TA. So again it is C1 e raised to mx plus C2 e raised to minus mx. So you can have this equation you can have to be the general equation for you, and with these two general equation we can apply boundary condition. Okay. Now what is the first boundary condition? At x is equal to 0, at first boundary condition. So if I apply the first boundary condition to this, what I will get? At x is equal to 0, so theta is equal to theta 0. So theta 0 is equal to C1 plus C2. So this I got from first boundary condition. And if I apply the second boundary condition, what is second boundary condition? Dt by dx will be 0 at x equal to 0. So it means I need to simplify this equation in terms of dt by dx. So we have a t, we'll differentiate, it will convert into dt by dx. So to apply the second boundary condition, I have to simplify this as dt by dx is equal to, so if I differentiate this, TA will be 0, dt by dx is equal to, so this will be m into c1 e raised to mx plus minus m into c2 into e raised to minus mx. Okay, now based on this, if I want to calculate dt by dx at x is equal to L, so how I can write? I can write m into c1 e raised to ml minus m into c2 into e raised to minus ml is equal to 0. So if I equate equal to 0, m will be common. So the left part will be, I can write this to be c1 e raised to ml minus c2 e raised to minus ml. So this we got from second boundary condition. So are you getting me? C1 e raised to ml minus C2 e raised to ml. So still we do not got C1 and C2 value. So what we'll do now, we'll equate 1 and 2. So if I equate equation 1 and 2 to get the value of C1 and C2, so if I suppose if I'm equating 1 and 2, what is equation 1? Equation 1 is C1 plus C2 is equal to theta 0. So if I suppose if I'm taking C2 is equal to theta 0 minus C1, okay, and if I'm substituting in 2, okay, so if I write equating 1 and 2, so if I equate 1 and 2, so one equation is this, okay, and from this equation we got C2 is equal to theta 0 minus C1. So if I substitute in equation number 2, so if I substitute in equation number 2, so what is the two equation? C1 e raised to ml minus, instead of C2 we will write theta 0 minus C1 into e raised to minus ml is equal to 0. Okay. So what we understood is we got one equation in terms of C1 only. Now we can calculate the value of C1 from this equation. Okay. So how we can write? So we can simplify C1 e raised to ml will be minus theta 0 into e raised to minus ml and plus C1 e raised to minus ml is equal to 0. At C1 remains to be common, so C1 is common. So left part is e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml minus theta 0 into e raised to minus ml is equal to 0. So if I take this on right side, so I'll be getting the value equation of C1. So what is the equation of C1? C1 is equal to theta 0 into e raised to minus ml divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So this is your value of C1. Okay. So we got the value of C1 from here. Now based on this, we can have a C2 value. So for C2 value, we again substitute C1 value. So what is C2? If you refer back to your equation number 1, so we got C2 is equal to theta 0 minus C1. So we're putting here. So C2 is equal to theta 0 minus C1. So to get C2, theta 0 minus C1. So theta 0 minus, so what is C1? C1 is theta 0 e raised to minus ml upon e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. ये value आपको simplify करना है. So what value will get C2 as? So we'll get from this theta 0 to be common. So left part is 1 minus e raised to minus ml upon e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So the left part will be theta 0. So if I multiply, cross multiply, so e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So minus minus will get cancelled. The left part will be e raised to minus ml, e raised to ml divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So this is the value of C2 which we got. Are you getting it? So we got these two values of C1 and C2. So C2 is theta 0 into e raised to ml upon e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. Now we'll substitute the value of C1 and C2 in equation number A. So I can substituting value of C1 and C2 in equation number A. So what is equation number A? It is theta is equal to C1 e raised to mx plus C2 e raised to minus mx. So I have to put the value of C1 and C2 here. So what is C1? C1 will be theta 0 e raised to minus ml divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml plus what is the value of C2? C2 what? C2 is theta 0. So it is multiply by e raised to mx, as this value represent the value of C1. Yeah. And remaining part is e raised to minus mx. Similarly, plus the value of C2 is theta 0 into e raised to plus ml divided by e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. So this is the value we got for C2 into e raised to minus mx. Are you getting me? So after substituting now from the above equation, we can easily understand that theta 0 is to be common. Okay, theta 0 common इसमें भी common है. So we'll take it common on the left side. Okay, and denominator is also common. Okay, so we'll simplify in this way as theta upon theta 0. As theta 0 is common, we took in the left side. And the left part is, the denominator is common, e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml. And the remaining part is e raised to minus ml into e raised to mx, e raised to mx plus e raised to ml into e raised to minus mx. So if I further simplify, so I'll be getting as denominator as common is to ml plus e raised to minus ml. This will be e raised to m is common, so it will be x minus l. But we required l minus x because l is the length of the fin. So if I consider minus m to be the common, so the left part will be x minus l. So I can take it as, if I consider to be m as common, so the left part will be x minus l. तो अगर माइनस कॉमन लिया तो l minus x हो जाएगा. So minus ml and plus mx. Similarly, plus e raised to m is common, left part is l minus x, as l is the length of the fin. So we got this as theta upon theta 0. This, we can convert this the above equation into a hyperbolic function. So if I use hyperbolic function, for further simplification, so how I can write this above equation, theta upon theta 0 will be equal to hyperbolic cos of m into l minus x divided by hyperbolic cos of ml. Okay, so this is your final term that we require. Okay, now if I want to further write this, so I can write this term as in two ways, as theta upon theta 0 will also be equal to t minus ta upon t0 minus t. So this is the final term that we have to consider. So this is the important term. We can call this to be my temperature distribution equation. So if they ask you to calculate the temperature in a fin which is insulated at the tip, we have to use this equation. Now, based on this, we can write, since hyperbolic cos of m into l minus x is equal to e raised to m into l minus x plus e raised to minus m into l minus x divided by 2. Similarly, hyperbolic cos of ml is equal to e raised to ml plus e raised to minus ml divided by 2. Okay, so if it is e raised to m into l minus x minus e raised to minus m into l minus x by 2, so it will be hyperbolic sine of m into l minus x. Okay, now based on this 2, we got the equation of temperature distribution. Now we require to calculate the Q of fin. Is it understood? How to calculate the Q of fin? We can have again the Fourier law of heat conduction. So we can apply the Fourier law of heat conduction equation. So heat flow rate from or across base of fin. As I told you, this to be remembered. Base of the fin means what? We are considering the x part to be equal to 0. Okay, it means your x will be equal to 0. So if I apply the Fourier law of heat conduction, Q of fin is equal to minus Ka, where A is the cross-sectional area, into dT by dx, where dT by dx is the temperature gradient at x is equal to 0. Now, in order to get my dT by dx, what I can do is I can refer back to the temperature distribution equation. From this equation, we have T minus Ta upon T0 minus Ta. If I write this, so if I write in terms of temperature, so T is equal to Ta plus T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic cos of m into L minus x upon hyperbolic cos of ml. Okay, now if I take a derivative of this, so it will be dt by dx is equal to, so this term will get cancelled and left part will be T0 minus Ta and the denominator part will be remain same, hyperbolic cos of ml, and the left part is we are differentiating with respect to x, so ml is constant, mx means minus m, and hyperbolic sign of m into L minus x. Is it understood? Okay. Now, based on this, if I want dt by
Yes,
at x,
sir.
so if I want dt by dx at x is equal to 0, so I can rewrite the above equation as T0 minus Ta into the m part. So x is equal to 0, so this will get cancelled. So it will remain hyperbolic sign of m into L divided by hyperbolic cos of ml. So we can further consider to be the hyperbolic tan of ml. Okay. So I can write dt by dx at x is equal to 0. So it is m into T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic tan of ml. So this we can substitute in the above equation. Okay. So what is the above equation? Q of fin is equal to minus k into ACS. So dt by dx at x is equal to 0. So it will be m into T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic tan of ml, that is at x is equal to 0. So if I further simplify this, I can write this as Q of fin is equal to, so do we have a minus sign or plus sign? It is minus, I think, minus m. Na? Here in this equation, ml minus mx, the minus will be common, minus. So here also it will be minus. Okay. So here it will be minus, and similarly, the bottom side also we have minus. So this will be a minus. This is your minus. So now it will get plus. Okay. So minus minus will get plus. So it will be m into k ACS into T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic tan of m. Clear? So if I substitute m is equal to under root of Hp upon K ACS into K ACS into T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic tan of ml. So if I further simplify, I can consider under root of Hp into KACS into T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic tan of ml. So this is your final expression of Q of fin, which is under root of Hp KCS T0 minus Ta into hyperbolic tan of ml. So that you have to consider whenever they ask you to calculate the rate of heat flow through a fin or insulated at the tip. So this part is important. So this part is considered that you have to consider to be the important. Is it understood?
Yes, sir.
Great. So I just revise it for you so that we can end with this derivation. So we had started with the derivation on heat dissipation from a fin insulated at the tip or end. So we had considered one fin, which is of L is the length of the fin, which is insulated at the end. And so based on this, we had applied the boundary condition at x equal to 0, t is equal to t0.